So we can select send by email. This will create a new email collector. And again, we can, update the name here if you'd like. Import contacts. You can decide to add from a CSV file right here now. That is a very, very easy option. It will create a manual group that you will find within your contacts. So it looks something like this. In order to help with the organization of your email collectors and your contact groups, though, I would recommend to first go to your account information, go to contacts, add contacts, which is this green call to action here, import multiple contacts. And what we most often find is that folks will use a CSV file for this. By selecting this option, you are going to see the field order that we expect, which would be email, first name, last name, and then you have the ability to incorporate up to 50 custom data fields. So an example of what that looks like would be this here. So we have our email address, first name, last name, and the custom value 1, which would be the department in this case. Headers are not needed for this. It will just ignore that. So when we choose the file, we have our CSV here now. Add to group. So this is going to be pretty important for you for the organization of your contacts. So you could select new group. I already have these folks in April 2026, but let's do that. Group. And here, if a contact already exists, you do get to decide if you'd like to update that contact information or ignore that import information. It will be looking at the email address as the unique ID in order to update this info. If you don't have the first name or last name either, that is not required. It truly is just for the email address. So by adding contacts, you can now see here that we have the email, first name, last name, and custom 1. You can edit the columns as well to reflect the language that you would prefer to use for the organization purposes. So in this case, we have department is custom 1. And you can see here that has updated automatically. So now that we have our contacts that are ready to go for this, we can navigate back to our survey. Let's go to send survey. We have that email 1 in draft mode right now. We'll resume. All right, so here we'll do import multiple contacts. There we go. And we have the new group that we've just created and select add. Here we can update the subject line. The logo is here by default as well. This will actually pull from your survey if you have uploaded a logo to your survey design. You can make updates and decide whether or not you actually want to embed the first question into your survey if it's a question type that is supported. If you're adding any text, or an introduction using the text option that we have rather than the page description, it's not going to give you this option. One thing to note as well, being an enterprise customer, is that you have the ability to change this from our template to plain text or the custom HTML option. So if you want to change the branding to be able to support a more white label feel, you would be able to do this by adjusting the code here. Another thing that you can do as well is I'm going to look for the begin survey. Oh, actually, we've got the embedded first question on, that's why. Get that off. All right, if we're not embedding the first question, there would be a begin survey button. And the code in here would allow for you to also adjust it if you're using the multilingual feature, which I think we discussed like way back in July. There we go. So we have this survey link here. If you wanted to send out this survey in for a specific group of people that maybe speak Spanish only as their primary language, but the survey is in default English, you would actually be able to use a specific code, which would be the question mark language equals and say ES after that. And this will actually force the survey to open in that specific language, assuming you have applied the translations using our multilingual feature. So navigating back to the template though, you do have the ability to remove the SurveyMonkey branding if you wish. And we'll select next. Here, you'll see that you have the option of being able to change the sender email address. So this needs to be verified, whatever email address you insert here. There will be a confirmation email be sent to that email. Once verified, it will show whatever the email address is via surveymonkey.com. Now, if you're using a custom email sender name and domain address, you would be able to change the first part of that with the domain being your organization's domain. Here as well, the anonymous responses is very important to note depending on the type of survey that you're sending. So if it's something that's a little bit more sensitive, you can actually decide to exclude personal information, so that first name, last name, and email address from the survey response, while keeping your custom data that you've applied to that particular contact. We also do have the invitation tracking turned on. And again, we have the survey end page available for you to update to a different URL. Under the advanced options, again, we do have the same ones, which would include the cutoff date and time and custom disqualification. For very, very sensitive surveys, you can also decide to add a password to all of your surveys as well. And we would select next. So here you would be able to decide when you would actually like to send it out. Now, this is going to dynamically change for the time zone depending on what your browser's time zone is. So just to kind of keep that in mind if you need to do any conversions. You can also send now, and this will take about 5 to 10 minutes typically to actually send out. We do have a limit of 10,000 contacts per email collector to be used in a 24-hour period, up to 20,000 contacts. So if you do have more than that, people will share the surveys with other users in order to have multiple collectors to be sent out to bypass that 20,000 limit per 24 hours. However, you will not be able to access the collector options if someone else owns that collector, and your contact lists are your own as well. There's no sharing of contacts or being able to view other users' contacts. All right, so before sending, you're like, well, we have the custom variable for the logic to show the right department questions, but now we're adding custom data to it. So we actually need to go back into our design and incorporate the logic to show. So we can go to page logic, advanced branching, And we can actually reuse the same rules that we have applied for the custom variables. So you can have both collectors being used at the same time. So we have the condition. We're going to add a new one, and we're going to select the and option to change it to the or. Select criteria, and we're going to find now this department contact data. And we're going to follow the same structure here. All right, so double checking everything looks good. We've got custom department, that's the variable, and custom one for the email collector. And we would apply. All right, so I actually already have a email ready to go to show you. All right, so without having made any changes, this is essentially what's showing up for me with an email. So we have my email address via SurveyMonkey, and it's coming from member@surveymonkeyyuser.com. So that is the default. We do have the first question here embedded, so we can select the star rating. And that opens up. And this is a different survey, same idea, in order to help show what the results would be in terms of the analysis, as we have a few already loaded in here. All right, so again, this is for sales and we don't see anything else. And we'll select done.